I'll tackle this in two layers. One, what magnets' fields can actually do in real physics, and two, how your aluminum in blood cochlea pulsed by fields idea stacks up as a fictional mechanism versus reality, plus where Havana syndrome stands as of the latest public assessments. 1. Magnets and magnetic fields. What's real? Static magnets versus pulsed projected fields. A permanent magnet makes a mostly static magnetic field. It doesn't shoot out like a beam. It just exists around the magnet. An electromagnet coil can make a magnetic field that you can turn on, off, or pulse by changing current. That is real and common, motors, MRI, TMS, etc. Wikipedia, key logistics, magnetic field strength drops very fast with distance, often 1 hard for near-field sources like loops dipoles. So projecting a strong magnetic field far away is extremely power-hungry and impractical. Can you send magnetic pulses, like a signal? A changing magnetic field creates an electric field, electromagnetic induction. That's the basis of transformers and TMS brain stimulation. But once you're far enough away, what you really have is an electromagnetic wave, RF, not a magnet pulse beam. In the far field, the electric and magnetic parts travel together as RF radiation. Can magnetic fields be microscopic or nano-sized? Yes. Materials can have magnetic domains and nanoscale magnetic behavior, spin physics, magnetic nanoparticles, etc. You can have magnetic nanoparticles used in medicine research, e.g. MRI contrast agents, magnetic manipulation in labs. But manipulating them at a distance still needs strong fields gradients, usually close to the body and with specialized hardware. Are magnets powerless? Not at all, just constrained. Local power? Very strong fields are easy near the source, MRI magnets, industrial electromagnets. Remote power? Strong, precise effects at long range are the hard part because of distance fall-off and energy limits. Real-world examples of pulsed field tech for scale. Transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, uses a coil near the head to deliver brief pulses 2-3 Tesla. Effective depth is limited, often described as a few centimeters. Wikipedia. That's the kind of intensity you need for reliable neural stimulation, and the coil is basically touching the head. Number 2, cell towers, space. Could they do magnetic pulsing to a person? Cell towers. Cell towers primarily transmit RF electromagnetic waves designed for communications, not focused, high-peak medical biophysical pulsing. At typical distances, the magnetic component of a tower's RF isn't a controllable magnet beam you can use like a tool to tug on tissue. To get strong biological effects from RF, you typically need high peak power and/or close proximity, and you'd expect detectable engineering signatures, heating risks, and major logistical challenges. From space, you can beam RF from satellites. That's how satellites work, but delivering concentrated, targeted, high peak pulses to an individual on the ground is a different level of difficulty. Beam width, power, pointing precision, atmospheric losses, and detectability become huge obstacles. 3. Your aluminum alloy in blood's cochlea, magnetized cochlea theory, how it fares. The physics problem with aluminum. Aluminum is not ferromagnetic. It's weakly paramagnetic, meaning it does not become strongly magnetized like iron, nickel, cobalt. Even if you imagine micrometal in tissue for magnetic forces to mechanically deform the cochlea in a controlled way, you typically need strongly magnetic material or special engineered particles, strong external fields, gradients, and usually close-range hardware. So as a realistic mechanism, aluminum in blood, magnetically driven cochlea vibration is very weak on fundamentals. What is plausible in the general neighborhood, still not solved, but physically coherent? If you want something that sounds like your idea but leans more physics plausible for fiction, swap aluminum alloy for magnetite-like nanoparticles or some engineered biocompatible magnetic particle, still speculative but at least magnetically responsive. Or pivot from magnetic tugging to pulsed RF causing a pressure wave, the microwave auditory/Frey effect concept, which is a known phenomenon in principle. Wikipedia, important caveat, known demonstrations are not the same as proving it explains Havana cases, and weaponization feasibility is debated. PMC number 4. So, what's the truth on Havana syndrome right now? Public official bottom line, it's not solved, and a clear cause has not been established. Latest U.S. Intelligence Community Public Assessment, January 10, 2025. The ODNI-NIC updated assessment as of DEC 2024 says most of the IC continues to assess is very unlikely a foreign adversary is responsible. Director of National Intelligence. It also notes one component judges there's a roughly even chance a foreign actor used a novel device on a small subset, and another says roughly even chance a foreign actor developed such a device, but these are low confidence judgments. Director of National Intelligence. Reuters reporting matches this public summary. Reuters. Canada's public summary, updated Sept 13, 2024, Canada states it found no evidence attributing symptoms to a foreign actor, while recognizing symptoms are real and harmful. Global Affairs Canada. It references the March 18, 2024 NIH study, noting no significant difference on certain MRI metrics between participants and controls. Global Affairs Canada. Habit 5. Your idea as a fictional research dossier, story form. Here's a version you can drop straight into your fiction, written like a classified briefing, while keeping the real-world caveats baked in. The Merrick Index, extract fictional. Dr. Merrick slid the binder across the table. The cover read, Index, magnetic, quantum-adjacent effects in biological targets. Status, theory heavy, evidence light. 1 field types. Permanent magnets are static. They don't broadcast, they soak space nearby. Coils can pulse fields, but pulsed fields don't stay magnetic beams for long. At distance, it becomes RF behavior, wave physics, not magnet tug-of-war. 2. Range reality. Merrick wrote 3 words on the whiteboard. Distance eats magnets. A strong field today is a whisper a block away, unless the generator is enormous, near, and loud in every instrument. 3. The alloy blood hypothesis. We tested the romantic version, Merrick said. Aluminum in blood, aluminum in the cochlea, then a remote pulse reshapes the inner ear like a tiny gong. He shook his head. Aluminum doesn't play that game. It won't magnetize the way conspiracy folklore wants. If you want magnetic control, you need magnetic matter, something that answers a field like a compass answers north. 4. The rewrite that works in fiction. Merrick offered 2 alternatives, both uglier, both more believable. Option A, magnetically responsive nanoparticles. Not aluminum, something engineered, something that can align, spin, heat, or pull under a strong gradient, but only if the emitter is close, hidden in a room, a vehicle, a wall. Option B, pulsed RF auditory intrusion. Not magnetism as force, magnetism as part of RF. Short, intense pulses deposit energy fast enough to launch a microscopic pressure wave, heard as clicking, buzzing, a sound inside the head. Not magic, he said. Just cruel engineering. 5. Havana-style ambiguity. Merrick tapped the last page. Officially, nobody can pin it down. Most investigators say foreign attack is unlikely. Some keep a narrow door open for a small subset. That's the perfect habitat for a myth. Real suffering, uncertain cause, and a mechanism that might exist somewhere in the space between physics and secrecy. He closed the binder. For your novel, he said, don't claim certainty. Write the uncertainty as the weapon. If you want, tell me the tone you're aiming for. Hard science thriller, paranoid dossier, or mystical techno-horror. And I'll adapt this into a longer chapter scene with characters, locations, and a plot hook.